Hello traders, this is Options 101, lesson number 2, how options are priced. So we will understand in this lesson how the option goes up or down even when the stock price does not move. So the options are not only directional, and by now everybody probably knows that. So the stock price, the underlying price movement, it's not enough to price options, because options are not only directional. So we need to understand what are the other components other than direction. Because sometimes we see the stock go in our desired direction, so in theory the option should get more value, but then instead we see our P&L going down and we don't understand why. So it's really important that we understand all the components that need to be factoring in when we look at option value, option price. So there are three main components. One is the direction, the price, we just talked about it. The second one is the time, and the third one is the volatility. So let's look into it a bit more in detail. Now, we know that option calls benefit when the price of the stock goes up. That's why we buy calls. And we know that puts benefit when the price of the stock of the underlying goes down. But we need to think about also the time decay. So any option loses values as the time passes. So even if the stock doesn't move anywhere, the option loses value when time passes. And it's called time decay. Now, we know that all options have an expiration. This time decay accelerates near expiration date. So much that at some point it will eat all the value then maybe we got from direction. So it's really important that we consider that. Now, we're just talking about long options, so buying options or selling options. But in next lessons, we will see ways to neutralize the effect of time decay to our advantage. The third component is volatility. Volatility measures the expected future movement. So, high volatility makes options expensive. But this can be a positive thing if you are an option buyer that bought an option when volatility was low. And then with time, volatility increasing will help us. For example, going towards an earning date, the volatility goes up. So if you bought an option when the volatility was low and then the volatility starts increasing, then the value of our options will go up, which is pretty good. Falling volatility instead will hurt us if we are options buyers, because again, less volatility will give us less option value. Now, this introduces us to the Greeks. The Greeks are just like a way to call what we just discussed. So, direction is indicated by delta, time by theta, and the volatility by vega. You will see delta, theta, and vega in option chains typically. That's going to be a discussion for next lesson. For now, let's just see what they mean. So the delta measure the option price that changes if the stock moves $1. So for example, if the delta of our option is 0.50, for every dollar that the stock moves, our delta will increase of 50 cents. The theta measures the time decay. So it's the daily value loss, because we said that as time passes, the option loses values. You always see it as a negative number for buyers. The vega measures the sensitivity to volatility. So as we said before, rising volatility helps buyers. So when you open an option chain, you will always see this Greeks. Delta, which measures direction, theta, which measures time, and vega, which measures volatility. Next lesson, we will talk about how to use them, and we also see in real time how they affect the option value. So that's it for now. This our Greeks. I hope that these three important concepts are in your head now, and you will factor in them in your decisions when you decide to buy an option. As I said, next lesson we will go through other important elements always regarding discretes, and we'll see how they affect our decisions and the value of the options that we're buying or selling. See you next time.